Apparently, I have no idea how long is left in this series. This is Dragon Ball Top 24 Villains, Part 3. Looks like it's part like 4 or 5, maybe 6. Who knows? Apparently have no idea how many is left in this series, man. I don't care. Look, if you guys want to watch the original videos by Team 4 Star, this is the top villains in Dragon Ball Z. I'm having a lot of fun with this series because I'm learning a lot about Dragon Ball Z villains that some of them I've never even seen before, and I really like Dragon Ball Z. It was one of my favorite anime growing up. So let's get back into it, man. There's apparently a ton of this to get through. I'll tell Skitten about it later. She knows about all of my exploits on the internet. Don't you, baby? They can't see you giving me a thumbs up. It does not come through camera at all. Not even a little bit.
They feel it.
Well, feel the thumbs up from Skitten. Let's do it. Number 12. Emperor Pilaf. I like Emperor Pilaf.
Demon? A mutant?
I think he's just Pilaf.
He's a forever baby.
Little monster boy with dreams of world domination.
Emperor Pilaf is the epitome of a gag villain. Perfect for the infant days of Dragon Ball. He and his companions Shu and Mai
Oh my god, I just got that part. God damn it, Toriyama.
are a batch of villainous schemers on the hunt for the Dragon Balls in order to control the world.
Yeah.
But they aren't
Evil baby.
quite effective at their job.
No, I
I'm pretty sure Team Rocket has had more long-term success than these guys.
That's real.
They're hardly intimidating.
Yo, do they have a best of Pokemon compilation? Looking for it.
Wholly ineffectual, and their designation as villains is barely qualified by their overall motives and some questionable acts they put our heroes through.
But that's not what earns them this spot on the list. They're incredibly memorable, ridiculously endearing,
Yeah.
and much like Team Rocket, they're a reliable source of comedy and charm.
And in Dragon Ball Super, the girl falls in love with Trunks.
As Taka said, they were perfect for a series like Dragon Ball.
Even their evolution into henchmen via King Piccolo
Yeah.
works, as their own personal motivations adapt to this scenario, and their own brand of comedy helps give levity to the demonic ruler as he needs it.
You can't deny how funny and memorable these guys are as the original villains of the entire series. So while they may not be intimidating,
Effective,
Or have a deep, complex motive.
they're perfect, just the way they are. A little monster boy, a talking ninja dog, and a full-grown woman with way too much time on her hands.
Yeah, basically. Just wasting her life with these people.
And now for the
Oh.
exact f***ing opposite.
he's the man, the myth, the guy who wears his job description on his back.
Kill.
He's Tao Pai Pai, also known as Mercenary Tao.
While those who watched very little to none of Dragon Ball have had very little interaction with Tao,
I like him.
he was one of the most dangerous, intimidating, and effective villains in the entirety of the original series.
With the ability to throw a pillar and ride it at the speed of sound, use energy blasts that put the Kamehameha momentarily to shame, and kill men with his tongue.
Yeah.
This contract assassin is a mean mother.
I
who
actually got
ends
in
up
trouble once in class for telling somebody I was gonna kill him with my tongue after watching this.
beating Goku in their first battle, nearly killing him.
While most of the other intimidating villains in this series up until now followed strict orders, Tao Pai Pai acted with almost complete autonomy and had very little in the way of comedic relief.
And he has a badass
He is a
ponytail.
cold-blooded murderer, out for Goku's blood and would stop at nothing. Until, you know, getting a grenade kicked in his face.
Yep.
It also helps that the actual battles between him and Goku are easily some of the best in the original run, and it's one of the first times you feel like Goku's life is really on the line. This pink parading ponytail packing professional puts prior prolificates to shame.
Ooh, that was good.
Unfortunately, while he's effective at his tasks, his motivations are realistically low. As much, he doesn't quite earn a higher spot on the list. That being said, his first appearance as a villain in the series is remarkably effective, and he stands high as a classic of the franchise.
Hell yeah.
Also, he comes back as a
a
cyborg.
cyborg, yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite nearly as cool as it should be.
Nope.
Do,
And he screams a
I
lot.
think it vibrates.
I mean, what's the point if it doesn't?
And he screams in the abridged series when Goku goes to talk to him in the Broly movie.
10.
The Red Ribbon Army arc for some can be seen as a transitional period for Dragon Ball, from being primarily about martial arts and adventure to more of a serial epic. This transition can be felt in the mixture of serious action and off-the-wall comedy that the Red Ribbon Army provides.
Led by the titular Commander Red, this private army's sole purpose is
Man,
to
it's
track
very
down and
short.
retrieve the
Holy
7 Dragon
smokes.
Balls. They will uproot homes, destroy habitats, and murder men, women, and children for their goal.
Collective villains are rare in Dragon Ball, and the colorful cast, pun fully intended, that is employed by the Red Ribbon Army is a delight. Between Colonel Silver's ice-cold attitude, Ninja Murasaki's utter incompetence as a ninja, and General Blue's divine mixture of effeminate comedy and deadly ability, Goku and his friends have a tough battle on their hands.
They really do cause no end of havoc for the heroes and civilians alike. So Goku's assault on Muscle Tower and Red Ribbon headquarters is a fantastic series of events, and it isn't until Staff Officer Black, man, and I thought the Black Ranger from Power Rangers was a little on the nose, figures out the true motivation of his commander that things start to take a hilarious and dark twist.
And the Red Ribbon iconography is all over the Android saga. Though that does little to actually influence their position on the list, it is good to recognize their contributions as a whole.
It should be mentioned that most of these guys wouldn't have ranked as high on their own, but together, they're a fantastic antagonistic force for our heroes, and their arc is one of the best in the franchise.
And you can tie a ribbon on that.
Thank you.
9.
Speaking of a villain collective,
The
here we have one of
Ginyu
the few villainous
Force.
teams
Come
in the
on, man,
entire
it's a
franchise,
classic, bro.
The Ginyu Force. Toku Sentai, Toku Sentai.
Last entry, we mentioned the Power Rangers. Here, we see a full-on inspiration from the Japanese formula in full effect, with a group of alien mercenaries that are as deadly as they are hilarious.
While the Namek/Frieza saga is known for its high-stakes drama, tension, and the longest 5 minutes known to man, this gaggle of goofballs runs the gambit of abilities, strengths, and personalities.
The Dairy Dorks are made
I
up
love
of
that
5
shit.
milky members,
Oh my
each based
God.
off of dairy products. Ginyu is the Japanese word for dairy. Goldo packs the protein with yogurto, or yogurt. The deadliest combination for your arteries are Jace and Burter as cheese and butter, and Rikum
Cheese
is
butter.
cream, aka cream. Are any of these implicitly sexual to you?
Goldo's ability to stop time by holding his breath is new to the franchise.
Yeah.
But even this game-breaking ability is pushed to the brink up against our heroes.
I love that.
Luckily, he pulls double duty with psychic powers that almost ends with the world's most kid-unfriendly kebab.
The fascinating thing about these guys is how well they get along with each other and how lackadaisical they are with
fucking
their
weird.
job
I
of,
love it.
well, murdering folks. They Rochambeau to figure out killing order and who will be lucky enough to take up the task, which makes them terrifying when their powers are put into full effect.
And these guys also give Vegeta the biggest run for his money he's ever had.
Elbowed his
battle
ass in
with
the
the
face.
rambunctious, eccentric Rikum is a marvel, full of sweeping attacks and heavy hits. And the accuracy and precision in which Jace and Burter coordinate their attacks would have been a match for any other character, if Goku had not shown up in the nick of time.
It's good he does, too. Every single one of the heroes on
Yeah,
Namek is
he
at death's door by the
fucked up.
time Goku touches down. But when Ginyu himself shows off his power of switching bodies, we have an evil Goku on our hands.
Yeah.
Suck it, Black!
These
Suck
guys
it,
may be some
Black.
of the most hilarious and threatening villains in the series, gracing us with marvelous poses, dazzling powers, and even more personality than you can handle. It's almost a shame that they're one and done here, isn't it? I take it back, Vegeta. Kill them all.
Oh.
So we've already listed 2 homicidal androids on this list, but
18,
here we have the fresh
16,
young and fit
17,
villains
18.
that would
Xander
become the
16 was
major
the
threat of
dopest.
the arc. Or well, that's what Toriyama originally thought anyway.
Yeah. Remember when we said that Toriyama's former editor, Torishima, told him that androids 19 and 20 weren't fit for the role of the big bads? Well, Toriyama then designed androids 17 and 18, only to be told again by Torishima, wait, this time they're just some brats?
Can you imagine what the series would have been like if Toriyama never listened to his editors?
Dang.
And their total domination over the main cast doesn't stop there. They manhandle every fighter who steps up to them,
Yeah.
leading to one of the most one-sided fights Vegeta has ever fought.
He got
And that's saying a
fucked
lot
up.
for a guy whose major role in the series is make everything worse, then job as hard as possible.
Jesus, spoilers, Kaiser.
Androids 16, 17, and 18 are exceptionally different from the rest of the villains who made the list. From their piercing cold stares, their consistently casual demeanor, to their relationship with one another, and the motivation that drives them towards Goku. They don't feel like traditional Dragon Ball villains.
Their youth alone makes them stand out, but the way they talk and interact with others gives them this unnerving aura that belies just how deadly they are. And boy, are they deadly. In flashbacks and History of Trunks, we see them murder every member of the main cast, with
Jeez.
the exception of non-combatants such as Chi-Chi and Bulma, leaving only Trunks to save the day. For all intents and purposes, these guys won in another timeline.
Yeah.
Well, until Trunks finally came back after Cell.
Their character arcs are also some of the best in the series. While the androids of Trunks' future are murderous and unrepentant, Android 16 provides an unintentional moral compass that keeps his 2 siblings from stepping too far out of line. Besides their somewhat minor infractions, he also slowly learns to love the planet around him, and ends up sacrificing himself on multiple occasions to protect it, being part of the most powerful moments in all of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The points against these guys are largely that their personalities are a little flat. While their development and their casual attitudes work well to sell their intimidating and dangerous nature, they sometimes come off as too subdued. Furthermore, their role in the series is downplayed by the bigger threat that follows. But all that aside, they're a great trio who I'd have loved to see get more development. Hint, hint.
It really is magical to see Android 16 become more of his own character as time goes on, and also to see Android 18's development after the Cell Saga. While Android 17's largest contribution to the series is one of the very best fights in the franchise, his actual development is, well, almost non-existent. But his sister, Android 18, ends up falling for series veteran Krillin.
Yeah.
Of course, the downside to this is Toriyama making another strong female character and putting a baby in her for the sake of keeping the status quo, but at least she's still a badass mama.
So, are we going to talk about how they're not androids? How they're actually modified humans, aka cyborgs?
Well, what about Jinzo Ningen? Hey, Kaiser?
Don't be a f***ing weeb, Lanny.
Ah!
7.
Some people have a hole in their lives that they try to fill by
Yeah,
having
Piccolo
children.
Jr.
Unfortunately for King Piccolo, there's no filling the hole that Goku left. But his offspring/reincarnation has every intention of following up on his tyrannical papa's wishes
Yeah,
for world
man.
domination. And more importantly, killing Son Goku.
It should be said up front that Piccolo is one of the best characters in the series, but his role as a villain is short-lived.
Yeah, it
But
is.
whoa,
Super
boy, is
short.
it a crazy run. Shortly after being expelled from King Piccolo's stomach, chest, throat? Seriously, where does
Wherever he
come
came
There's a
from,
hole the
dude.
size of a 14-year-old in his abdomen. Anyway, he hatches to reveal a demon baby who is quick to explore the new world around him.
Fast forward to the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, and he makes his first appearance as an adult. At first glance, his green skin and devilish grin give him away as the Demon King himself, but it's pretty apparent that this Piccolo is his own Namekian. Well, not Namekian. I mean, he is.
What is he?
Not yet.
Under the guise of Junior, he enters the tournament with his eyes set on killing Goku, making his way up the ladder
Ooh.
to do so.
Killing
With an air
Krillin.
of mystery and menace,
Fucking
the
Krillin.
audience is slowly exposed to this new incarnation of the Demon King. Sinister and murderous, but also less verbose than his daddy was, and adopts his own set of ethics and moral code. Well, with the exception of the whole murdering Goku thing, but what's an evil demon space alien gonna do?
Through his fights with both Krillin and Kami, under the guise of Shen or Hero, depending on your dub, we see shades of his villainy. However, it isn't until the climactic final battle with Goku where we see him come to full fruition as a violent, unyielding
take off them
monster.
weights, yo.
He pushes Goku to the absolute limit in one of the most drag-out, visceral, and exhausting fights in the entire franchise.
The techniques and combat prowess on display here run the gamut, from flying to blast to Piccolo's growing ability to a Kamehameha from the feet. Their fights put the best Dragon Ball has to offer on display with wonderful animation, choreography, and just, I gotta watch it again.
While Kaiser is busy digging out his blue bricks, let's take a minute to recap the fights before Goku. Piccolo's appearance is a chance for both Kami to come to the forefront as a character in the story, as well as for Krillin to get one of the most satisfying fights the poor little monk gets in the entire show, surprising both the audience and the demon prince?
His battle with Kami also allows us to get a peek into the true nature of Namekians. While it's not explicit, they have a conversation in a language that's distinctly alien.
Right.
Though neither of them would realize this until later in the story. It's one of the few bits of foreshadowing within the series and really adds depth to the story. Also, Piccolo manages to reflect the evil containment wave, or Mafuba, again depending on your dub, in a turn that propels the stakes of the tournament, leading us to the climax.
But what's interesting
Dope.
about Piccolo Jr. is how he develops after his loss. See, most other villains within the series don't really have much to do after they're defeated.
Yeah.
Mostly because, well, they're dead.
I'm
This
saying
time,
'cause we
however,
kill
Goku
him,
makes a
vaporize
conscious
him.
effort to spare Piccolo, even providing him the means of recovery via Senzu, and then encourages him to get stronger as so they may repeat this all over again, which then becomes kind of a trend for Goku, for better or worse.
I like that
But it's
trend,
this
though.
act of mercy that allows us to see Piccolo develop from a villain with a laser focus of killing Goku into what would be a steadfast, invaluable member of Goku's entourage. Piccolo joins forces with Goku to defeat Raditz,
Killing
temporarily
Goku.
adopts
Good
Gohan,
job.
and even
How about
sacrifices
that?
his life for the whiny little squirt, giving us a true redemption in Dragon Ball. And it's a beautiful thing. We'd only see a story as complex once more, but Well, we'll get to him soon.
Let it be known, by the way, that I thought Piccolo Jr. and King Piccolo should have been one entry.
I respect your input, I value it, and I disagree.
I hear your disagreement.
I
acknowledge
would
it,
love to
and
hear
you're
these
wrong.
guys argue about
When
Dragon
General
Ball.
Rildo.
I would love it, man. Great way to end it with the big, mean, and green Piccolo. Definitely a personal favorite as far as bad guys go, especially because of his contributions throughout the series with that harsh undertone of hating Goku's guts. Well, yo, thank you guys for checking out this episode, man. It looks like we got maybe 2 or even 3 other videos with their villains, so make sure to stay tuned for those. We will get around to them at some time. I'll see you in the next one, ChavezzSlovakia. Peace.